Good day, my friend. Welcome to the Saturday morning version of this thing of ours, the Ides of June, the 15th of June. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for being a part of this. As we always say before we begin, make sure you are subscribed. The number of people that we are finding who are unsubscribed makes me believe that, maybe there is something to the dread conspiracy world that we live in. So please do us a great favor. Make sure you are subscribed because, well, without going into too much detail, sometimes there appears to be a certain form of shenanigans. Thank you so much for being with us. We have a lot to talk about today in levels and in areas that I hope and I trust you will find interesting and fascinating. If you have never, ever, ever, ever heard this or us or this particular iteration of me, let me say that I have a very simple rule. Everything that you have thought of in terms of political, social, pop culture, music, whatever it is, I want you to throw it away. Just throw it away. The moment that unfortunately, that I am typecast, the moment that somebody says, "Oh, you're a blank," I realize time to change, time to go the other way, time to change the set, so to speak. The Stones always play the same songs, the set list, the set list. Uh, we are right now in one of the most incredibly important periods of information entertainment through video and digital platforms. It is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It is so exciting, and I know for a fact most people who kind of were raised in it don't understand how terrific it is. But we'll get into that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about video geniuses. We'll talk about a couple of words of admonition about listening to everyone. We're talking about how to handle, what to think about. What do we do? How do we deal with this idea, this notion of the president in complete and total cognitive decline and free fall? We'll talk about the president's Veep pick, the ICC and ICJ, the lack of rebellion, and the complete and total destruction of free speech, and how nobody seems to care about it in the least, which scares me to no end. So anyway, my friends, get ready. Sit back, buckle up. Make sure, again, you are subscribed. Check right now. Please like these videos and everything. And before we begin, let us make sure that we hear this important and incredibly necessary word from our critical and importantly necessary sponsor. There's bad turbulence now. The economy is a minefield right now, ready to detonate and destroy the wealth and dreams of the unprepared. Bank failures, de-dollarization, debt. But amidst the chaos, a beacon of hope emerges. Kevin Sorbo, screen legend, Hercules, Christian actor, and an outspoken activist for the people. With his economic crisis toolkit crafted in partnership with the experts at Noble Gold, Sorbo is now on a mission to help everyday Americans navigate the coming nightmare. This shock-proof toolkit is your compass through the turmoil, with recession-proof strategies, inflation-busting techniques, and opportunity-seizing skills to help you not just survive, but thrive in the bedlam. The crisis threatens to derail your financial future, but you now can stay on track and emerge stronger than ever. And the best part, this shield of knowledge is yours absolutely free. Don't become another casualty. Enlist in Sorbo's Wealth Warrior ranks today and arm yourself with the tools and tactics you need to protect your hard-earned assets. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and sign up for the Economic Crisis Toolkit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. Okay, my friends, a couple of things. First and foremost, let me take a little bit of a break here. Make sure you understand what is happening. And I tell you what's happening because I'm noticing it, and every day I wake, I see this, and it is the most important thing I've ever seen in my life. Let me explain. And this is also another example of why history is important. What is critical to our music today, our music scene, if you look back to UK, Great Britain, whatever. For the Beatles, what happened? What was the change? What happened? Well, there were songs like Whiskey on My Collar, and not Whiskey, lipstick on my whiskey, lipstick on my collar. It's kind of a sappy, syrupy, post World War II, 50s kind of stodgy gray. It was okay. It was okay. Nice Ray Conniff. And then all of a sudden, certain things happen. In the UK, there was this skiffle came along, Lonnie Donegan and others. Jimmy Page played it. And it was a kind of an upbeat thing. And I liked that. So that's very good. So lay that into the mixture. This is little changes, little tweaks. It takes a little of a boat for you to change the direction totally. Doesn't seem like much, but just a little slight variation of this. It's like when you're shooting, just one little millimeter, centimeter off, and it ends up a mile off down the road. So that was that. Then came this during World War II, when GI radio, when entertainment kind of blended, kind of like a mini internet. A lot of the Yanks were over there. People started to hear music that's like, wait a minute, blues. And of course, thank God for the Brits, who, when they were young, said, what is this? Muddy Waters meant nothing to us. To them, they never heard anything like it. They did not know this. It blew their minds. So they took that. So then throw in Elvis. Elvis, you can laugh at right now. I was never really a big Elvis fan. It doesn't matter. He was critical. Elvis. Memphis. And pretty soon there was these concatenations, these new vortices, these new movements, these new, for lack of a better word, these new directions that change everything. A little bit here, a little Elvis here, a little Everly Brothers here, a little Muddy Waters here, and kaboom. That's all it took. And we're off to the races. Off to the races. And you get the Beatles. That one little thing. Okay. Knowing history makes you aware of that. Knowing history. Going back in the history of the restaurant. The restaurant was really a much later, even this is, I hate to say it, post Escoffier. Well, not even Escoffier. Those were banquets, and hotels had restaurants, but not really the restaurant you went to. People forget that. People forget it. That was like a new concept. Hotels had them. Travelers had them. Kind of the Michelin, where that came from, because travelers and, okay? Keep in mind that. Fire departments didn't come until the end of the mid to end 1800s, 19th century. Police later on. This was all private. This was all insurance companies. You got to really say, what? Yes, this is where these things changed. Restaurants changed completely. Escoffier changed cooking, where gastronomy really took off. If you don't know the history, you can't appreciate and you can't see the trends of where we're going now. You can't. And by the way, prior to French cooking, French was brand new. The three forms of cooking that are the most important, that are the most critical in the world, were, of course, China, Rome, and Greece. That's it. France was later on. And by the way, all those fancy sauces to cover up lousy meat. I don't care what anybody tells you. That's the way that goes. You following me now? You following me? Okay. Food entertainment. Who's the granddaddy? James Beard. James Beard. Teaching you how to cook? James Beard. There's a science behind it? James Beard. French chef? James Beard. Food TV? James Beard. He was it. It's the granddaddy, the Mac Daddy. That was number one. He did it. Everything after that is just based on him. You see where we're going with this? Good. The news. Print. 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 Oh my God, the New York Times. Heaven, the great New York Times, great lady. Wow. Washington Post, that was later on. In New York, there were 12 dailies? Then came radio. What? Radio. 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 Goodbye. So long. Radio was so critical. Radio, oh my God. You just listen to people. Radio changed theater of the mind. And that was a precursor to what we have right now. Obviously. Television, shall I go on? Okay. My generation, we always knew radio, but AM and then FM and then rock and roll and the 60s and 70s and post-Vietnam, I've seen it all. And now we are in a revolution which just, oh my God. What it did was, and this is why this is important. Today's revolution is so important because it's not the information that's important, but the ability to hear the information. What am I talking about? In the old days, you still had to have an AM radio and you had to wait for them to play the song for you to hear it. If you wanted to hear it, you had to go to the radio. You couldn't even buy them. A lot of times going to a record store to have records, what? That's later on. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but that was later on. To have albums. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards tells a story where he wanted to roll or to rob Mick Jagger, who had albums. He had them under his arm they lived in Dartford, and he was going to steal them. One guy wanted to go. He said he went to somebody's home. I forget who it was. Somebody from the Moody Blues or whatever. Who knows? But they went to somebody's home just to see the album, to see Muddy Waters. Not even hear it. Just see it. I've got it. Okay. Today, you don't buy anything. Let me ask you a question. What was the last CD you bought? Anybody? What was the last CD? I don't even remember. I've got a plug that if I want to play a CD, I've got an adapter. I got to find the plug. I used to have a little thing you slipped on the side of your laptop, whatever. You're going to slipped it in. It was a CD. I don't know what to do. Buying? I'm going to buy something? I don't know how anybody's making any money. I do not know how to. I have a monthly Spotify, so I don't have to hear the Spotify is the greatest thing in the world. Greatest thing in the world. The other day, I'm listening to something, one of the greatest country music singers now today. First of all, Dale Watson he's still magnificent. Dale Watson is the everything today for country music. But a very, very close second is the guy, Tony Jackson. Happens to be a black country music singer who is so good. So the other day I hit Tony Jackson radio. Okay. And that means that the algorithm folks of Spotify will come along and they'll say, well, if you like this, we'll program it for you. And I'm listening to stuff I've never even heard before. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. It is so prolific. It is the most gorgeous stuff, but I'm not buying a thing. I'm not buying it. I wouldn't even know where to go. Do we even have it? Do you remember the old days going through record stores? There's no such thing as this anymore. Okay, fine. That's then. I'm not lamenting the fact. I'm not lamenting, but I'm telling you now, there's a proliferation of everything. So I don't need a radio station determining who's who. There's no such thing as payola. You don't have to go to PLJ or Wins Love Passion, whatever these things are. I don't even know. And what are the great radio stations today? Urban and Latino? Talk. Talk is it. Howard Stern was always talk. Rush Limbaugh was talk. It's not music. That's done. It's talk. But it was interrupted. Okay, next. But you had to be in the town of Howard Stern. You only had to be someplace that carried the affiliate. And Howard Stern was really not that great. He was just, I mean, he was important, but I remember one time when after Don Imus died, they played the best of Don Imus and they said he was a shock jock. It was the most stupid thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm thinking this was important. Okay. But now you are awash in so much stuff. And I want you to listen to me. Today's lesson, number one, listen to everyone. There are people that I have known personally, I despise. I don't hate them. I know them and I despise them. Despise them. I know the way they are in person. I know the way they treat other people. I know a lot of stuff. But I will listen to them at times when they speak on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about them personally. I don't care about them, whether I like them or not. There are some people who I like a lot who say absolutely nothing. But make sure you listen to everything. And not somebody who's necessarily popular. Everybody. And I'll show you in a minute. Don't ever foreclose something. If you want to be a chef and you've never tasted or smelled or experienced cardamom or allspice or five spice or anything, you're not a chef. You don't know what you're talking about. If you've never, you don't have to like it. You don't have to use it, but you got to be aware of it. And every now and then somebody will say something that makes you think, like, oh, I get it. Raul Rodriguez says, senescence, a cell angel, stop dividing, but lives. Okay. Thank you, Raul. Appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. Raul clarifying that for us. I appreciate that immensely. Thank you so much. Making sure we understand what that means. Thank you. Thank you for that. Senescence. Thank you. Dotage. That is next. Let me give you an example of something. This is important. I do not like Republicans. Not personally. They don't do anything for me. They don't even remotely get to what I'm thinking about. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they're doing. But it's all we've got. It's all we've got. One time I was listening to somebody, and I said, it was so funny. Somebody who doesn't get it. It was for emergency food. I was talking about somebody, buying, preparing for food. And somebody says, well, what are you going to do if is it vegan? I said, did you hear what I just said? Yeah. Did you miss what I just said? There was this word I just said. It's called emergency. Did you hear that? It's called emergency, as is we may not survive without this. I would probably say hold your nose and look the other way if you're trying to live. If you were, now listen to me carefully, an alcoholic, and you were about to die of dehydration and all they had was booze, would you drink the booze? You better, or you'll die. You see how people they don't really get the essence of this. We need information now. The person I'm getting the information from, I may not particularly care for, but I'm learning something, either about something I care about, or I'm learning about the enemy. Let me tell you this much. There's a group of people called the RNC. And I know that there's a guy named Michael Watley. I don't know who the hell Michael Watley is, but we keep hearing Lara Trump, even though they call her Laura. It's Lara. Just like they say Naomi, comes out Naomi. I don't know why. It just does. Okay. Missouri, don't ask me. So Lara Trump and Charlie Kirk and these others, God bless them. I have no interest in them. None. I'm not even going to go into why. They're not bad people. It's just, it's like third grade. That's not where I want to go. But this is important. And this is where I stop and I say, good for you. Good for you, Lara. Good for you, Chuck. Listen to what they say.
Top priority is election integrity, because Charlie.
Now, God bless them, okay? God bless somebody speaking about election monitoring. How long have we been talking about this, my friends? How long have you and I been saying since the beginning, what are you doing to guarantee the vote?
Let's face it, if we don't have free, fair, and transparent elections, nothing else matters. And that is our goal at the RNC. And by the way, every single person in this country, regardless of how you vote, should want free and fair elections. So,
makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Yes, absolutely.
So, right before I came here, I was about 30 minutes away with the chairman of the RNC, Michael Whatley. He and I started here in the state of Michigan.
She's co-chair.
Launching our election integrity
Whatever
program. And what we want to do is train 100,000 people all across this country to be part of that team. Now, what does that mean? That means we want poll watchers, but not just that. We want poll workers. We have a unique opportunity right now that we have not had in 40 years as a party. For 40 years, there was a consent decree placed upon the RNC that did not allow us to train people to work as poll workers.
Now, did you know this? I knew nothing about this. Did you know this? Prevented to work from poll. Wait, what? And with 143 days before the election, one more time, this is something which I found very interesting.
Opportunity right now that we have not had in 40 years as a party. For 40 years, there was a consent decree placed upon the RNC that did not allow us to train people to work as poll workers. Now think about that for a second. Who was training, Charlie? All the people for the past 40 years, not the RNC. Think about how many people the DNC got to train to work in these polling locations. Yes.
Now, again, I want to look into this. Let me remind everyone, please, let's all, after we get done this morning, let's go and research this. Why are Democrats doing this and not Republicans? I want to know more about this. Okay, very good. This should absolutely inspire you to investigate this.
So now we have this amazing opportunity so we can train you to work in a polling location. We can train you to work in a tabulation center where the mail-in ballots come in.
Hurry up.
We also want attorneys to work in every major polling location so we are not reactive, we are proactive. The second you see an issue, we address it. We're going to have war rooms set up all across this country and every state as well to deal with things as they happen, not days, weeks, or months later. So protectthevote.com is the website. Again, protectthevote.com.
Okay.
If you want to be part of our team, we will come to you and we will train you in your state, give you everything you need to know. Any lawyers in the audience or listening, if you're a lawyer, you do not have to be trained in election law. We will train you on exactly what you need to be looking out for. It will take a Herculean effort to fight back against all the nonsense and all the nefarious activities that we know happen out there. But this year is the year we do it. We are also sending a loud and clear message out there to anyone who thinks about cheating in an election. If you cheat in an election, we will find you, we will track you down, and we will prosecute you to the full extent of the law.
Okay, provided, of course, there's some organization, the DOJ or somebody is involved with that. But listen, that's good news. That's great news. What I wish somebody would do is what the ACLU used to do years ago. They had an app that was where you could, if you saw some police shenanigans, you stopped what you were doing. You focused you directed the app, whatever, at this behavior, recorded it, took pictures, and then off to the ACLU it went, or whatever the particular. That would be terrific. So here's what I'm saying. I hope this works. I applaud this. Thank you. I don't care if it's Lara, Charlie Kirk, or Vivek, or these other, whatever these folks are. Because remember, they never talk about what I want to talk about. Never. But that's okay. But just to let you know, I can not listen to them 90% of the time, but this I will listen to them. Anybody who I agree with, anybody who says something that I agree with, I'm with you. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if it doesn't matter to me. This left-right paradigm, it's so funny. We always have these, we always love to say, well, there's no such thing as left or right. Well, then what difference is it? Oh, they're a Democrat. No, people really love, in this rather sophomoric way of looking at it, they love this, they love to make fun of the Democrats. They love to hate the Democrats. That's not my thing. That's not my thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Janice says, origin, the consent decree originated from a 1981 case where the DNC accused the RNC of voter intimidation and suppression. Christian, thank you for that. See that? Excellent. Voter intimidation. Now it's the other way around. Boy, how things have changed. How things have changed. Now, a couple of things which are very, very important. I wanted to show you, and I don't even know what this one was, but I thought it was good. Let me see what this is. No, that's it already. No, we saw this. Oh, okay, fine. Next, let me show you what Trump did. I don't know if he thought of this or somebody thought about it, but I think this is one of the greatest stories ever. And I want everybody to do this and listen to this very carefully.
We got 6 votes. We don't even need the votes. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it quick. No tax on tips, okay? It's done. Done.
Now listen.
And we need to spread the word so that every time you leave a tip for the next 5 months, you put on the receipt, vote for Trump because there's no tax on tips. You see that? That was done. See the screen? That was done by somebody. They voted. This is a person paying. And they said, vote for Trump. There'll be no tax on tips. That's a person that was a tipster as opposed to a tippee.
Now,
but it's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only.
Now, a couple of things here. First and foremost, look who I went to hear that. Did I go to CNN? Nope. Fox? Nope. Right Side Broadcast Network, RSBN. God bless these people. It's the new media. I love that. Not Fox. Fox is no. It's the new media, which is so exciting. It's not even new. It's a new everything. It's like being a part of seeing something. It's like knowing that hip hop is going to take off. But remember, it's not the style. It's not the music. It's the platform. Do you know years ago they couldn't sell FM radio? FM radio before it became kind of like that hip groovy sound thing. It was non-existent. It was not. You couldn't find it. People said AM will never sell. Excuse me, FM. It's AM. And they really meant it. They said this repeatedly over and over and over. And today you'll kind of laugh at that when you think about that. Nobody even listens to FM in the first place. I mean, who even listens? Again, listen to where we are right now. FM. So the only thing that's changing is not the information, not the music, but the platform. So you've got people right now who are watching this, and there are more people watching that than you could ever imagine. This is the most exciting thing I've ever seen. White Monkey says, Trump Biden debate must watch TV. Do you think it's still gonna happen? I hope so, Mr. Monkey. I hope so. And thank you. I hope so beyond anything. I hope so. Now, here's something else you have to do. And I want you to pay attention to something. I mentioned this before to you, and I'll say it again. You have to pay attention to the enemy. You have to listen to what the enemy is saying. But before we do this, before we get into this, let me make sure you understand something. To remind you, are you still subscribed? Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that. Before we continue, let's listen to this word from a great and a glorious sponsor, the wonderful folks at mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. It's time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know, a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, listen carefully. Check out their $25 extravaganzas. Premium My Pillows, Queen and King, My Pillow 2.0, My Pillow bed sheets, the lowest price ever. Sandals, slides, slippers, 6-piece towel sets, 4-pack dish towel sets. Simply and absolutely unbelievable. So go to mypillow.com/Lionel, mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or call 800-645-4965, and watch how fast Mike Lindell answers the phone. MyPillow.com, simply and absolutely the best. Now, my friends, let me also remind you of something. In order to find out how I'll throw myself into the we category, how we are winning, you must look at the following. And this is also critical. You must look at how is the enemy viewing us? Now, let me give you an example of something. There is a group of people called MSDNC. This is listened to by no one of any significance. Let me rephrase that. Not in terms of numbers. These are people who are already going to vote the way they vote. So you understand something. They're already going to vote the way they vote. They've already committed themselves. If they go into a Taylor Swift concert, you could say, I think this Taylor Swift is terrible. I think it's boring. The stadium's filled. Accept it. That's just the way it is. MSDNC is the place to go if you are that particular ilk. If you're in Washington, they love Morning Joe. Love it. I don't know why. Nobody, no hedge funder, nobody listens to anybody on any financial network. Nothing, not Kramer, none of these people. None of these people. It's an ad for various, doesn't matter. It's for novices. People say, oh, I'm keeping up on this. You might learn something new, but the people who really are in charge of this do not pay any attention to that. They just don't. It's not what you think. Okay. But it's important to listen. Meager Brzezinski, this is one of the funniest stories. You got to go back. Meager Brzezinski is the wife of Joe. By the way, the blinds, the gossip, the dark web of truth shows that, as maybe with other folks, things were not as happy and as glorious in paradise as one would think. What are you going to do? Meager and Joe years ago started this thing. Joe Scarborough was on MSDNC, and then he did Scarborough Country at Night, and it was a conservative. He didn't like that, and now he went back to this thing. And he's lost his mind, lost his soul, and has basically, I think, a bird's nest or something on his head, which is fine. I'm writing a song called What in the Hell is in Scarborough's hair? I don't know what I said, what is this thing? In any event. So she used to be, by the way, Meager, the school marm, the turd in the punch bowl. You know what I mean? She was going to say, oh, stop it. Just stop it. That was her thing. The school marm, the killjoy, the buzzkill, the stop it. Would you stop? That was her thing. Every morning, I say, what is the purpose of this? Well, anyway, because she was Big Nev's daughter that nobody really thought was that smart. I think her brother became the ambassador to Japan, or who knows? But Zbiggy is her father. She wants nothing more than to be famous, sexy, hot. She did a series years ago of these lectures with, I think, Ariana Huffington. That was just, nobody even know what the hell it was about. It was just psychobabble. All right. You got to understand. You got to understand this. When Trump was running and they got the word, Trump's going to form his own media business. She and Joe would just kiss the arse of Trump like you cannot believe. You know the old joke, if Trump stopped suddenly, they'd break their nose. Okay, fine. Well, what happened, interestingly enough, despite what everybody thinks, what happened was later on, they realized this ain't going to work. He doesn't like us. He doesn't trust us, nor should he, because they go with a win. They have no ideological reference point. She just wants to be famous. She's not a lefty. She's on the right. Joe will land wherever he is. Doesn't matter. Put enough, have her guest, have her show with as many, quote, interesting people, including Mike Barnacle, the plagiarist, the usual suspects, these Donnie Deutsch, who might be the most stupid person on this show. I was on Donnie Deutsch's show one time with Dog the Bounty Hunter. And I didn't even know what the hell it was on for, but I think it was Dog. Yeah, Dog. And Dog says, I'm going to go and I'm going to find Bin Laden or something. And I said, let me get this straight. You're going to what? Blend in? And I said, you're going to go looking like that? All right, that's enough. Wait, no. Anyway, it did not work. It fell apart because it was a joke. It was a joke. Understand this. So now they're playing to their very tightly concentrated group of people. And they're putting on things that are, the word is called lying. They will lie, prevaricate. Is misinformation, disinformation, bad information. It is a misrepresentation of fact with the intent to deceive. And this is the latest lie, where Trump apparently met with a bunch of business people, and the business CEOs are telling MSDNC, this Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. Are you kidding me? Now think about this. I know that's a long lead-in, but you have to understand who these people are. And when you hear the lying, you understand why they're lying, and you understand the depth and the degree of their lies.
Takeaways from Andrew, more takeaways from Trump's meeting with business leaders. What was the reception like?
Well, it was interesting. I spoke to a number of the CEOs who were at that meeting yesterday, a number of whom, frankly, had been predisposed to President Trump, in fact, former President Trump. And they walked away from that meeting, I think, a bit disheartened, a bit questioning, I don't want to say his mental fitness, but...
You can stop right there. Stop right there. Stop. Do you think anybody is questioning Trump's mental fitness? This was a deliberate move, a deliberate order from the higher-ups of their boss, the DNC, and the higher-ups of the DNC, the shadow government overlords and ghouls, to perpetuate this idea to counter the narrative that Joe Biden is senescent and a dotard and he is gone and whatever it is. So they're actually telling you that people questioned Trump's mental wherewithal. This is, I mean, and they're saying this with a straight face. Now, here's the best part. The people watching this aren't going to vote for Trump anyway. The people who are voting for Trump, doesn't matter. So maybe they're hoping, I guess, somebody on the fence is going to say, Trump's mental wherewithal?
Questioning just how meandering, how in some cases one said to me, he could not keep a thought straight.
Trump can't keep. Now think about this. Think about what we're saying. In compared to Biden, they're actually saying this. These people are freaking out.
He would go in one direction and then he'd go in another direction, and that there wasn't really necessarily a through line to the way he spoke or what even he was talking about. At one point, and you described it earlier, he discussed his plans to bring the tax rate down from the corporate tax rate down from 21% to 20%. And apparently, at some point in the meeting, was asked about why he had chosen 20%, and he said, "Well, it's a round number."
Now, let me ask you something. If you think that Warren Buffett, have you heard Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, whatever it's called. You ever heard of Warren Buffett? Do you think this is the clarion of clarity, the klaxon of? I'm just saying. This is the level of desperation. We are in economic interest rate, inflation free fall, and they're actually doing this. And this guy is not even worried. Remember, he makes his money from CNN. Anybody wants to sell something, get to him. You got a stock, get to him. You want to get to him. If you really, in the old days of payola, in the old days of how do we say this, of radio, from Murray the K, if you pushed a record and you were being paid to do it, you had to disclose it. So anyway, this is the level of complete and total freak out these folks are at. Seriously. And I'm not in any way, dare I say, exaggerating. It's the God's honest truth. John Jelaine says cars sold today don't have CD nor AM. Well, that's funny, John. You say that, and thank you, John. They have there was a new legislation they were planning recently that would mandate AM. I don't know about you, but I can't pick up anything on my antenna. I have an app. I have to, if I want to hear, a particular AM. Sometimes I want to just hear WLS, or just if I'm feeling nostalgic. So I'll go and use an iHeart app or something. But I use the phone to connect and I use it just to hear local. I can't hear anything. So I don't need AM, which defeats the purpose. If I'm not getting AM on the AM stick, the antenna, what's the purpose? Tricky Vicky says maybe things have changed. Maybe the 1981 consent decree was just a notable occasion when the Saul Alinsky rules for radicals playbook advice of accuse others what you are doing was deployed. Tricky Vicky, thank you for this. Prior to, I don't know when, I don't know when I first heard about Saul Alinsky. It's a couple of years ago. Saul Alinsky is the most overrated regurgitation of Bernays and others. And I want everyone to read selected quotes or selected moments from Saul Alinsky. Read Saul Alinsky and use it for yourself. There is nothing that in any way is even people get on. I'm not saying you, but I know one guy, and there's a friend of mine who quotes that all the time. That's classic Saul Alinsky. Accuse people of, and I said, but you do know other people have said that. It's not even, if I were to tell you, make sure you control the narrative. You know who says that? Everyone. Believe me, if you read Saul Alinsky and use his very words yourself. But aside from that, the fact that Lara Trump is even talking about this, God bless them. Now let's talk about this. Vice presidents. I'm going to say something right now, and I hope nobody takes it the wrong way, but I'm going to say it. Make sure that if you pick a vice president, the first thing you think of is who can handle this in case I die mysteriously, tragically, or surprisingly. Number one. Number two, make sure that if you have anyone who is gay, who is a philanderer, not that I'm putting them together, who has anything they are hiding, maybe, and I'm not suggesting that being gay is a problem. Say it. Pick somebody who's gay. I don't care. Say it. Nothing wrong with being. It'd be terrific. Say it. But make sure you don't pick somebody who's closeted, who has a beard. Everybody's laughing and says, what? For some reason, I do not know. You see it in Hollywood a lot. And I'm not going to go through the usual suspects, but some you know and some you don't. There are people who, for whatever reason, decide they are not going to let people know what it is that's the truth regarding their own sexuality. Christian Janice says, what sound system is in the Yugo, the Stretch? I'd rather not say. That's a proprietary secret. I was thinking at first something Harman Kardon related, but that's all I'm going to say. That's right, a boombox. That's good. A boombox. Now, let me just say this to you. I don't understand this. There was another, I'm not going to go through this before, but we've had from Ed Koch to other people, why gay men don't admit. I don't get it. Gay women, no problem. We've had a number of them. Well, who cares? Nobody cares. So one thing about the Democrats, they say this is the way it is. So that's number one. Number two, you want to find somebody who does not overpower, gets in the way of Trump. Vivek Ramaswamy is not going to be a vice president because he won't keep his mouth shut and he'll overpower. Next thing, by the way, have you noticed how something happened to John Fetterman where he snapped out of it? Have you noticed that? John Fetterman is so lucid. Have you seen him? Please do me a favor. Still wears the hoodies and the shorts. But he is, for reasons I do not understand, he is unbelievable in terms of his clarity. Next, anybody see Kate Middleton? Anybody see Kate? Do you think that's Kate? And by the way, this is the most fantastic story of them all. Kate, do you think that's Kate in that picture?
Well, they just were live on the balcony. The whole family.
Looks like her.
I think yes.
Okay. John Jelaine says, are we facing with rules for radicals versus rule of law versus all the rest of us? Perhaps. How about this rules-based order? Have you heard of that one? Anybody know how to explain that one? This is one where in Europe and around the rest of the world they laugh at rules-based order. Have you heard that one? Liberal international order, also known as rules-based order, describes a set of global rule-based structured relationships based on political liberalism, economic liberalism, and liberal internationalism. Not liberal the way you think, but rules-based order. If you talk to anybody who's European, they will break out laughing. Break out laughing. That's one. Remember, rules-based order. But anyway, going back to Kate, it looks like Kate, she was on the balcony. She looks thin. Not thin. She's in good shape. I think she looks very thin. I can understand, but I think she looks fine. Thank God. You know who also looks good? Chuck. Chuck looks real good. Chuck looks great. Now, I'm hearing stuff from my doctor friends, and the prognosis for Chuck, I don't even want to get into it. I'm not a doctor. Nobody's seen him. We have no idea. I kind of feel sorry for him in a weird way. He's enjoying, because when he dies, the royalty is just done. It's just done. The whole trooping the color and all that nonsense. But Kate was nowhere to be found. Nothing. She looks great. There's more to the story. There's something going on here I don't understand. It is the most fantastic story. There's a picture of Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart looks terrific. David Beckham with these ugly tattoos up his neck. Mr. Suave, Mr. Cool with tattoos up his neck. He looks like I will never understand that one as long as I live. But I digress. Next, the days of rebellion are over. The days of the radical are over. The days of the 60s. I was listening to a wonderful documentary on Abby Hoffman and those days, that wonderful radical fighting spirit is over. There is a movement going on right now that Americans are not being told anything about, per usual. And it involves the ICC versus the ICJ, criminal court versus the court of justice. And what is happening right now, which is the most important part. This is the part which is so critical. You must understand this. The rest of the world does not grasp the idea of how Israel is basically getting off the hook. Now, I know what I'm telling you right now. You're going to say, what? Wait a minute. What? Because you'll never hear this here. This is the left and right. It is so quiet. It is not even, it is so quiet. It is so done. It is so nothing. It's not a word of this. Nothing is being done. I can't even put this into, it just blows my mind. Americans have no idea. I've got a friend of mine who all he says is, can you believe these people on the subway where they're anti-Semitic? I said, do you know what they're saying? They're anti-Semites, but do you know what they're saying? Are all of the people on college campuses? Yes, they're all they're all anti-Semites. This is about Judaism? Is that what you think? Yes. So they have no interest in Palestine? No. This is about we hate Jews. We hate Israel. That's maybe anti-Zionist. They don't even know that one. This is it. So the issue is right now we have, and this is the best part. There were Brianna Joy Gray was watching an interview she did with two Harvard students. One is a Rhodes Scholar. Whatever that means, Rachel Maddow was a Rhodes Scholar. Rhodes, of course, this is the biggest conspiracy group or theory anybody's ever heard of. Anyway, so Rachel Maddow, was a Rhodes Scholar. And to make a long story short, this one guy is on hold indefinitely. He can't even get his degree. Why? Because of either what he said or how he acted or how he performed regarding protesting against Israel. Had he done this same thing for Black Lives Matter, no problem. You as an American citizen should be shocked that this is even going on. You as an American citizen must be thinking to yourself, I can't believe I can't believe this. You're withholding somebody's diploma because at a college campus at Harvard during the 60s in the Vietnam, what is happening here? Nobody's saying a word. Why? Because big money, I guess, folks who are in charge of the purse strings, who themselves are saying, either you crush these people or we're going to cut off our funding. Harvard is so rich, they could not take a penny of endowment money for the next 25 years and not skip a beat. This is Harvard. This is this liberal bastion. Again, they sold out. So the next time you hear anything about anything, whether it's Occupy Wall Street, they didn't care about that. Anything about Black Lives Matter, they didn't care about that. Anything about it. You're going to say, oh, they let you do that? Oh, so they let you do this. There's no freedom there. Claudine Gay, the president of, I know people are saying, I couldn't care less. They basically canned a black woman because of supposed discussions of plagiarism, because she was targeted. They said, we're going to teach you a lesson. We're going to teach you a lesson. If you think you can say whatever you want, you can say whatever you want about Trump or Biden. I don't really care about that. But Israel, that's a foreign country. Doesn't matter. You're done. Wait. That's a foreign country. And here's the best part. Listen to me. The liberals, the conservatives, the free speech people. Alan Dershowitz one time went to bat for a fellow named John Mack. John Mack was a professor of Harvard Medical School who actually said that he interviewed a number of people. He interviewed a number of people who themselves had been not the victims of or had reported abductions. Okay? They reported abductions, alien abductions, and they were going to can him, strip him of his tenure, the whole bit. Alan Dershowitz went to bat for him. Alan Dershowitz, the last bastion of free speech. Alan Dershowitz, First Amendment warrior, sentry, except for this. A foreign country? What if I said, you're not going to get your degree? Why? Well, because we don't like what you said about Macron in France. What? You can say whatever you want about Russia. You could even be pro-Russia. Doesn't matter. No other situation except this. And by the way, if you get out, the word is on Wall Street, if your name is on this blacklist and you were ever extremely either vocal or open-minded or whatever, you dare to utter a word that was contrary to our collective way of thinking, you're not going to work for big law firms. You're going to have offers rescinded. You can't believe, and this isn't the government. This isn't First Amendment. No. This is private. And Americans say nothing. Lawyers say nothing. First Amendment scholars, nothing. That's why I was listening to this Abby Hoffman, where are the Bill Kunslers and the Dellingers and who are the people out there saying you can't do this? You can say whatever you want. No, you can't. Now, advocating violence, verboten. But you know those kids, those people who tried to throw, two of them who were lawyers, I think they were eventually canned, but they were, they planned to or did throw Molotov cocktails into police cars. They were going to do some serious damage. The Antifa people, no problem. No problem. All these radicals of the 60s eventually went on to law schools, Ayers and Bernadine Dorn and others. You know what I mean? They're all, But I've never seen anything. And here's the best part: nobody from the Federalist Society, not from the conservatives. We're Federalist, Constitution, First Amendment, Nino Scalia. I know it's not the First Amendment. I know it's not the government. Nobody's saying anything. Where are the lawyers? Nobody. It's like, wait a minute. I don't even care whether you agree with it. You don't have to agree with what they're saying. You can say, that's despicable. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But you can't say that on a college campus? What? Wait a minute. What? Nobody's saying anything. The same thing that happened, my friend, during the COVID mania. When good doctors were saying nothing to stand up for people who dared to say, wait a minute, I have a say. I have something that I want to say regarding my body or regarding biomedical tyranny, biomedical martial law. Your doctor never told you anything. Your doctor said, I'm not going to lose my license. No way. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. No way. Remember that? Doctors said, are you kidding me? Not only that, the money. Remember the doctors who put people on ventilators? Do you remember that? Remember all these people who were going on ventilators because they were paying like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. I'm exaggerating, perhaps. Ventilators? The American Medical said, your doctor, I promise you, I promise you, your doctor, how many times do you get these things from your doctor? Got to get that shingles vaccine. Got to get this. Got to get. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'm just saying we don't really hear about anything else. Where is everybody? Where not the radicals, but where do people stand up and say, "Wait a minute, hold it"? Do you mean to tell me? And now that I guess the coast is clear, everybody's coming forward, and I'm not arguing about vaccine efficacy. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about that. But where's the opinion? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere. With all this free speech and all the memes and all the cute posters and the memetics and the tropes and nothing. Nothing. And I cannot believe what's happening right now. I cannot believe on college campuses. Harvard, I thought in February there's a place that's going to. These people did BDS for a while. Remember when they were protesting the Vietnam War? They even had times when they protested the minimum wage salaries, or the salaries of Harvard employees. They were great. Occupy Wall Street, okay, fine, silly, but people, I like doing that. Not this. Oh, no. And I hope you understand, because what scares me is, you know what scares me more? What scares me more is not that they're doing this. What scares me more is if you said, I don't care. That's Harvard. I don't care. I don't care what they do. No, but don't you understand it? I don't care. No. Do you know what's happening? I don't care. Well, wait. This is America. I don't care. I don't like those people. Or my favorite is, I just don't care. The United States of apathy and amnesia. I don't care. So what? That's their problem. Nobody cares about me. Why should I care about them? Yeah, but it's a bigger picture. I don't care. It's the most incredible thing. Everybody says, look what they did to Tucker. They fired him from Tucker because he couldn't speak out against whatever the hell it was. Oh, there's Tucker. It's about free speech. Great. What about the students? I don't care. But wait a minute. What if Tucker talks about it? Maybe I'll listen then. That's the weird thing too. These people who say, okay, if Tucker talks about it, then I'll talk about it. Look what they're doing to Alex Jones. Now, there's a lot about this that's exactly has nothing to do with free speech. Some of it does. It's hard to parse the two. Anybody paying attention to that? Nope. See, it's weird. It's like America, like, we like you, what you're saying, if we like you. I just told you, I think Lara Trump, and Charlie Kirk, bunch of phonies. But they're right about this. They're 100% correct. And I'll stand with them on the issue. Not with them, but on the issue. Doesn't matter who it is. If somebody's saying the right thing, I'm with you 100%. With you and your idea, but not you. I may not care for you. You dig? You dig? Everybody loves Tucker Carlson. Good for Tucker. Good for him. He has done more silliness regarding UFOs than you could ever imagine. He's done more harm for this subject because he never took it seriously. That's okay. But that's okay. It's not him. I don't care about him. It's the idea. He'll say something great. He'll say something right. He'll say something terrific. Remember what I'm telling you. If you don't stand up for everybody, if you don't say, you know what, I don't really care. Did you see yesterday we had this piece of these gay folks in, I guess it was LA, and they were upset. Not upset. They were celebrating the fact, I don't know where it is. They were celebrating the fact that they had this U-turn. I played it last time. I can't even watch it today because it creeps me out because it's weird. I'm sorry to say this, but some of these people are just very, very strange people. In any event, so they were very happy because they took down this no U-turn sign, and the reason why is that in the old days, to stop gays from cruising, they made you couldn't do U-turns or whatever. Okay, fine. So they had this momentary thing where they took the sign down and they had a bunch of drag queens and Charles Nelson Riley types and whatever. Okay, fine. Had they not been allowed to do that, I'd be all over it. Absolutely, I would have been all over it. You can't tell them to do that. You can't tell them to do that. No. You can't do that. There was a law in New York where a man couldn't dress as a woman. You'd be arrested, whatever the hell that meant. Oh, no. You can't do that. You can't do that, irrespective of whether you happen to agree with men dressing like women. That's where we are. Enough with the preaching. Remember what it means to be an American. Remember, free speech is our middle name. And not the stuff you like, but somebody's right to say anything. I remember the time we were standing up, I think I told you, and years ago when 2 Live Crew, remember Luke Skywalker, they were going after him, and I remember a lot of people saying, I don't even like the song. That's not the point. It's his right to speak. It's his right to say something. And if you don't like something, turn it off. We're losing. We're giving away free speech rights. And remember, the government doesn't do anything directly. It has proxies do it. It has its agents do it. That's who does it. But you know that. All right, dear friends, please remember this. Follow Mrs. L. Oops, that's not it. That's not it. Hang on a minute. Let me get this link. There we go. Follow this link and follow her right now. That's not it either. Hang on a minute. Give me 1 second. Let me copy this. Let me copy this thing right here. Let me do this. Just a second. No, that's not it. Oh, yeah. No, wait a minute. No, we're close. Hang on. Okay, I know this is very. There we go. Follow Mrs. L right there. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Right there. That's the link. Just click on that link and it'll take you right to the sign up page. Okay, you got that? Which is very, 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 very important. And to our dear friends, Tricky Vicky, thank you so much, Tricky. John Jelaine, thank you. White Monkey, Christian Janice, thank you. Raul Rodriguez, thank you as well for your thoughts and comments. And by the by, go back and please look at some of the great quotes of Saul Alinsky. You understand that? Read back the great Saul Alinsky. Oh, and I think I missed this from Vicky, who says, AI or someone stopped me from posting the fact mainstream media has turned on Joe and selectively editing video of recent appearances to make him appear even less cognitive than he is. Interesting. AI or someone stopped me from posting the fact that mainstream media has turned on Joe and selectively editing video of recent appearances to make him appear even less cognitive than he is. You know, it's funny, Vicky. You know what I would say is do you think that Stephen Hawking deserved our attention? I'm not trying to make Joe out to be Stephen Hawking. But sometimes there are people who, by virtue of some disease, cannot speak, but they're brilliant. I don't know if that would have done anything, but there's no fighting back. You notice the Dems don't do anything. They don't say he's fine. They just kind of ignore it. Or they get some clown to go on CNN and say, yeah, a bunch of these CEOs were markedly concerned over the fact that the president was. I don't believe that for a moment. All right, dear friends, don't forget, please follow Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Have a great and a glorious day. We will talk to you later tonight, 7 p.m. But don't forget, until then, remember these words: a monkey's dead, the show's over, sue you.